What's up, guys? Matt here with That Couple Flips. October was a great month for us. We did over $12,000 in sales, nearly $6,000 in profit. And I'm going to go over our top 30 sales of the month with you. We're going to start with number 2. Stick around to the end to see what our highest flip of the month was. All right, so starting with my nifty dashboard here, as you can see, we did $12,243 in sales for $5,800 in profit. Of course, that is before rent and all that other overhead. Our ASP was $40.19. Order profit $18.64. We did 324 sales. eBay carried the load with 8.1 thousand. Poshmark was second at 3,300, and Depop and Mercari, did their little thing as well. My top brands of the month: Ariat, I sold 9 items. Free People, we sold 9 items. Polo Ralph Lauren was 7. Levi's and Patagonia were 6 each. Take that with a grain of salt. That's just what we had the most of, I reckon. All right, so our number 2 sale of the month were these Robbins jeans. They were listed at $287.99, size 38-34. They are studded, paint splattered. This is a designer brand. Look out for the wings, anything really loud by Robbins. These were listed in August, sold in just about a month. I took an offer for $220. All right, moving on to the rest of the eBay flips. And these are probably our 30 or so best flips of the month. We'll start with this Zara crochet knit polo cardigan, coastal granny beachy artsy sweater. The reason we picked this up, obviously, it was new with tags and way more substantial. We don't pick up everything Zara, but she's seen this and said it'll sell, and we got $60 for it in a couple weeks. Next is this Christian Dior blazer. A trending style is the double-breasted. Good pictures is important. I always try to put my blazers on mannequins. There's that tag. Measurements for blazers. You always want to get a picture of the size. You want a pit to pit, a length, shoulder, and arm sleeve. This sold for $57.69 and took a couple months to sell. Up next, Veronica Beard. Veronica Beard is an excellent jeans brand, but they sell whatever these slacks are as well. These are called the Scuba Pant. They sold for $50 and took a month and a half or so to sell. So keep your eye out for those. Up next, this is an Eddie Bauer pea coat. It's a wool cashmere blend. Again, it's double-breasted, has both lines of those buttons there. Just a small amount of cashmere, but hey, throw it in the title if you can. Again, you want to include measurements. This sold in less than a month for, I think I took an offer of $52. Up next is this Patagonia Nano Puff Vest. This is their Primaloft line. Patagonia outerwear obviously is a pickup. Up next is this Gudrun Sojin tunic dress. Some good keywords. Lagom is a Swedish word meaning something, I don't know, but it is a good thing to put in your title for Swedish brands. Art, that's supposed to say artsy, but that's a typo. And then Scandi is another good keyword for Scandinavian brands. Gudrun Sojin, keep your eye out. Up next is this vintage H-Bar-C double eagle western shirt. I featured this in a short or the thrift haul about a month ago or so. This is just a really cool shirt. It's really thick, pearl snaps. It's got the double eagle embroidery. There's the tag. And this sold in less than a week. No, it didn't. It sold in 2.5 weeks for $90. Up next is a pair of Miss Me jeans. These were new with tags. The angel wings still sell relatively well. The boot cut style, the flare styles still do relatively well. You got to be careful on your buy cost for used. These were brand new with tags. That's why we were able to get $90. They were also a really good size with that 33.5-inch inseam, 34-inch waist. So Miss Me's can be great, but don't buy every pair you see. Up next, everybody knows Carhartt's good. Vintage Carhartt chore coat. Probably could have got a little bit more money out of this if I wanted to be patient. However, I'm in the business of selling, not storing. I had this listed for $150. Somebody offered me $90, and I said, let's get it gone. So Detroit is a really good keyword here. quilted lined barn. It's a chore coat. It's a barn coat. Whatever one you choose to put in your title, use the other one as a keyword. So obviously keep your eye out for Carhartt. Up next, Wilson's Leather. I don't buy everything Wilson's Leather, and the thrift store seems to think it's all worth $100 million, but this is a B3 Aviator shearling jacket. So it has this shearling kind of faux fur lining, the B3 style, and it's just a really cool jacket. I think I paid $20 for this because I just knew it would sell, and it did in 3 weeks or so for $80. And yeah, look for Wilson's Leather, especially in items that are a little out of the ordinary. American Giant can be a really good brand. This is a active fleece jacket. Not really anything great to speak of. American Giant is a good brand to be looking for. This is their Polar Tech line. Yeah. Up next is this pair of Rothys. These are the they're Rothys, the loafer, size 7.5. Flats are in style. These sold in like 2 days for $76. All right, moving on to the last half of eBay. Up next, this is the Patagonia Maple Grove canvas jacket. It's a chore coat. This was a really cool piece. I took an offer for $105, paid $15. It sold in about a month. When you're looking up Patagonia, this style number, type that into Google, and you will be able to find the style name for your jacket. Without Maple Grove in the title here, I don't get anywhere near $100 for this item. So keep in mind you need to know the style names. Up next, this is a tailor stitch in collaboration with Tracksmith. Here's the tag. I had never heard of Tracksmith, but it is apparently an activewear brand from England, I believe. This is a collaboration with them. I paid, I think, $9 for this, and it sold in a matter of days for $100. Again, that tag looks like that. I don't think you're going to find too many of these. However, Tailor Stitch on its own is a great brand to be watching for. Tracksmith, if you see it, I would definitely comp it because it seemed like everything with that name on it was doing quite well. Up next, this is a Nike down-filled Windrunner puffer jacket in a size medium. This item was returned to me and has resold again. I think I showed it in the September video. I messed up and called it an extra large somewhere, I think in the item description, when it was actually a medium. So I relisted it and it sold again really quick for $90. So yeah, be on the lookout for Nike puffer jackets, especially in down. Up next, this is an LL Bean just trench coat. It is wool. It was in good shape. We got good measurements, and like I said, it is 100% wool. It was insulated, and it sold really fast for $80. Up next is this Scotty Vest Chloe hoodie. I paid $7 for it. It sold for $80 really fast. As you see, this zipper goes all the way up the hood. Don't really know the function of that, but it is Scotty Vest. So obviously you're going to get all of those pockets on the inside. And this sold in a matter of days for $75. So keep your eye out for Scotty Vest. This is a vintage Pioneer Wear black leather blazer. Keywords were Western and Rockabilly. It was lambskin leather. Really good piece to be on the lookout for that a lot of people will overlook, but it sold for me for $100 in about a month and a half. So keep your eye out for Pioneer Wear. They also make other Western wear blazers that you may want to pass on. You may want to pick them up. I have sold their corduroy blazers in the past for decent money, so keep an eye on them. Up next is Gutter Unsojin again. This is their Feru jumper. It's a sweater. It obviously has that, I don't know, llama, horse, whatever the heck it is, image there. We used the keywords equestrian. Probably could have used those keywords we talked about earlier, but and I already forgot what they were. But I actually learned about those after we had listed this one, but it still sold really fast. We took an offer of $65 on it, and yeah, keep an eye out for Gutter Insurgent, especially novelty prints. Up next, these are Mother jeans. Mother, the mid-rise Dazzler Skimp. They were in the Night Tripper wash. I like to include the wash branding because some people do search for that. I did use a stock photo, but not as my primary, just to kind of show how they will fall. And yeah, these are the mid-rise Dazzler, size 30. We took an offer of $75, and they sold really fast. Up next, this was my wife's favorite flip. We paid $5 for this costume at Goodwill. It was October, 15th. So didn't really have any time to get it sold. I think it could have sold for probably $150 or close to it had we got it up in September. However, it was really late. So we did end up taking an offer for $75 on this train. Didn't really know how to take good pictures of it, so I threw it on my mannequin. But yeah, keep an eye out for Pottery Barn costumes because they sell very well. Up next, Ariat boots. These sold for $75 twice this month. They were returned and came back, relisted, and sold again. Everybody knows it is Ariat, by the way. The brand is named after the horse Secretariat. So yeah, Ariat Secretariat. And I did include this. Honestly, this was a mistake. I could see how it could be handy. However, the reason it's in there is when I'm listing on Nifty, you can include a screenshot to give it some extra details to create your listing, and I forgot to delete it. But it's not hurting anything to be there, and yeah. Up next, this is a Mr. Christmas Symphonique record player. You got to know what else to look for. I know Mr. Christmas is a brand. I seen Mr. Christmas sitting there, and I picked it up for $10. I did include a video in the listing just to show that it worked. It sold very fast for $129. Up next is this Dooney & Bourke Florentine satchel. It's a pretty large purse. Again, your pictures are important, guys, so pay attention. Don't just throw it on the table. This is on the mannequin there. I took really good, clean pictures. This sold for $150 in like 3 days. So Dooney & Bourke, we all know it. Just keep an eye out and make sure they're real. Good way to check if they're real is a lot of the times the fake ones, this will be like it'll show stitches here, but it'll be glued on instead of stitched on. So you can kind of peel that back just a little and see if it's actually stitched in there. And then this tag will have a serial number on the back of it. And this tag will be stitched in and not glued in. So just a few little pointers to look at there. For the Florentine bag specifically, they almost always have this green suede liner too, for something to think about there. And back on the subject of knowing what is available, I paid $15 for this at a garage sale, knowing that it did not play CDs, and I knew that it would still sell fast. It sold in 2 days for $150. This is the Bose Wave radio system. Had this worked, it probably would have sold for $450 plus. It actually did work. It just didn't play CDs, but would have probably gone for $450 plus had it worked correctly. All right, last 3 sales. Up next is this Abercrombie sweater that sold for $158 on Poshmark. That is right. An Abercrombie sweater probably sold for 4 times what it originally retailed for. This is it's an Abercrombie & Fitch baby doll sweater. Bella Swan, Twilight, Y2K, and Reed, meaning it has flaws. Okay, so this is a style-based pickup, and the aesthetic alone sold this for $158. The flaw, what was the flaw? Oh, the flaw is that it was shrunk. So it's tagged as an extra large, but fits as a small or extra small. The size was not accurate, and it may have shrunk. That is disclosed right here in the title. It sold for $158, and that sale is final. So fantastic sale. My wife loves selling Bella Swan stuff. I don't know that she's ever seen a Twilight movie. All right, up next. I paid up for this. It paid $30. However, it is an LRL Ralph Lauren camel hair trench coat with a stain. It sold for $215 in a matter of a couple months. Don't be scared to pay up. This was made in USA, so it's vintage. I did not put vintage in the title. It's not necessarily vintage, but, and yeah, so the camel hair, if it's cashmere, if it's any of the really higher end fabrics, these things can do exceptionally well. If it didn't have that stain, I probably list it for around $350. So yeah, keep your eye out for trench coats that are in really good aesthetics. Old money, mob wife, belted, those are all really good keywords. Again, your pictures are important. And last, but absolutely not least, is this vintage Avirex A2 leather jacket that sold for $350. I seen this for $15. Actually, I seen this for $30 at the thrift store. It sat there for, I don't know, a week, and I'm like, hey, it's May right now. You're not going to sell this thing. And I offered them $15, and they said, yeah. So I took it home and did some research, and it sold $350, and didn't take all that long. It's just super cool jacket. It is a remake of a World War II era jacket. They remade them in the 80s and 90s, this type A2. But yeah, keep your eye out for vintage leather jackets as well. So $350. So that's it. Over 12 grand in total sales, with that Avirex jacket taking the top spot. The big takeaway this month is it was a good mix of consistent bread and butter sales. A lot of stuff sold for us between that $20 and $40 mark. But we did bring up our ASP to about $40, which is really good ASP. A good balance of bread and butter and the home runs will keep your store steady and keep you in good cash flow. Drop a comment with your best flip from October, and like and subscribe to see what's coming up next.